Hi again, Mark here from Talkingbass.net. Today we're going to be looking at a riff that should be in the repertoire of any aspiring slap bass player. Pow by Graham Central Station, obviously played by Larry Graham. Now, before I get started, it's worth mentioning that if you're into slap bass and you want to get to grips with the technique, then be sure to visit Talkingbass.net, where we have the Simple Steps to Slap Bass course. It's a progressive step-by-step course that takes you from the absolute basics of slapping all the way through to advanced grooves, fills, and techniques like double thumbing. It's a huge course that should keep you busy for months, if not years, so if you want to get your slap on, be sure to check out the Simple Steps to Slap Bass course. So let's have a look at pow. Now, this line can be played in a bunch of different ways, and you'll see a wide variety of different transcriptions kicking around on YouTube and different websites. At the end of the day, it's a pretty fast riff, and it's hard to tell exactly what's going on with every single note in there, and Larry does play around with it a lot, and sometimes plays it completely differently, depending on the performance. But I've transcribed this for today's lesson, and after going over and over it again and watching various videos of him playing it, I've found a little move that he has in there that you don't see played that often, so I'll cover that when I get to it. So let's have a look at the notes in there. So the first part of the riff we'll look at is this part. Okay, so just that part there. So we're in the key of E minor, and we start on a D there, 5th fret of the A string, and we hammer on to the E at the 7th fret. So slap that D there, the 5th fret, hammer on to the E. Okay, so I'm using the 1st and 3rd finger for this. You can use the 1st and 4th finger if you want to, but I found that with this riff, for some reason, it seems a lot easier a little bit later on when you're actually using that 1st and 3rd finger. So, So, next we have 2 open E strings there, so. Okay. Then we have this open palm slap, the muted palm slap. So it's a left hand ghost note basically. So I'm just using those fingers there to bang down on the neck. Then we have the open E string again, and then what actually turns out to be a hammer on to the B at the 7th fret of the E string. I'm almost positive that it's actually intended to be another one of these palm slaps, but because there's quite a bit of pressure going down, it actually, if you slow it right down, you can hear it in there. You can hear the hammer on there to the B. So, okay, so then we have the D to the E again, 5th fret to 7th fret on the A string. So slap the D, hammer on to the E. Okay, so then we have a ghost note. So I'm just laying the fingers down lightly, so we get that ghost note there. So okay, and then we make a position shift because we were in the this position there with the 1st finger over the 5th fret, and now we're shifting up so the 1st finger is over the 7th fret, so we can play this little pop and hammer on up there on the G string. So it's 7th fret to 9th fret on the G string. Pop the D there at the 7th fret, hammer on to the E at the 9th fret. Okay, so that's the opening lick. So you want to start out really, really slowly with this so that you can get all those little ghost notes and those bangy little flappy hands in there working, and until you've got it accurate. You don't want it to be too sloppy. So I've got to say that once you actually do build up speed with this, it actually does seem a little bit easier in some ways, which is, the case for a lot of fast riffs. You slow them right down, and for some reason it just doesn't fall under the fingers as well. And maybe it's something to do with the fact that the riff is intended to be fast, just the way that things roll into each other. And I find it with this, I find that it's a little bit harder to be clean with the techniques at a very slow tempo, but that's good. That means that if you can be clean at the slow tempos, then you're definitely going to be clean at the fast tempos. So just start out slow. Now, here's the bit that I was talking about that's a little bit different to some of the transcriptions that I've seen. So we're going to have two ghost notes again there on the E string. So just laying the hand down, you know, lightly there and slapping there on the E string. So we've got the two of those, and then I'm actually going to play the D to the E on the A string, 5th to the 7th fret, but I'm going to pop it. Okay, so I'm going to play it like that. Now, in a lot of the transcriptions that I've seen, because there is a repeat of that, you know, we get that effect, that sound. So D to E, D to E. A lot of people just play it, they just play it twice. But if you look on some of the live performances of Larry Graham playing this, he's actually jumping down with the hand at that point. You know, he's moving down and then jumping back up. And I think I figured out what it is he's doing. So he's popping that D to E and then playing the D to E from the open string to the 2nd fret there on the D string. So we get two iterations of that D to E, but in different places on the neck, so we get a little bit of a different tone and a different attack because we're popping and then we're slapping. So, okay, so you can hear there the difference with a slap and a pop. So we have, okay, so we've got pop and then slap the open D and hammer on with the first finger to the E there at the 2nd fret. So now this is going to take a little bit of doing to keep it clean because we're in this position and then we've got to switch over. So I'm using the thumb to come around here to mute the E string when I play this. Okay, because otherwise it's easy to get all this noise. So you got to do a bit of moving with the hand. But you know, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is what he's doing. At first, I thought he was doing it the other way around, so he was actually playing it there and then up here, so working up. But, you know, when you listen to the attack on there, you can hear a little bit of a pop on the first one. So, anyway, you know, you can try any way you want, try some of the other transcriptions if you like, but I'm going to stick with this one because I think I like that sound, that difference in tone as we move from that D to E to that D to E. Okay? After the open string hammer-on, we have two open E strings, and then we have the muted palm slap with the left hand. So, and we just repeat that. So, okay, so we've got 2 E's, palm slap, 2 E's, palm slap. So, then we slide into the A octave there. 5th fret E string, 7th fret D string. Okay, so I'm sliding in from wherever. I can slide in from the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret, whatever. We're coming in with the 1st finger. So slide up to the 5th fret, then catch the octave there, which I'm playing with the 4th finger. Then we have an open E string in between the octaves there, and then we hammer on at the 3rd fret there for the G on the E string, and then pop for the octave there. So, okay, so that's the end part there. So from the open string hammer on. Okay, so you can hear that's the end of the riff. So let's put all of that together. So very slowly we have 3, 4, and. 3, 4, and. And a bit quicker. 3, 4. Okay. So we're almost there. We play that riff 3 times and then we have a variation. Now, variation is very simple. Instead of playing the octaves there, A and G, we just play the octaves C sharp, D. Okay, so that's going to be 4th fret A string, 6th fret G string, and then 5th fret A string, 7th fret D string. Okay, so all of that variation sounds like this. Okay, so that's our variation. So that's on the 4th time. So let's try all of that together. So 2, 3, 4, and. So obviously you want to start out slowly with this riff. You know, it's pretty quick and there's quite a bit going on. So, you know, you need to start out just aiming for accuracy with everything as you're working through, and things like that. You know, those little moves where we're moving down here, you know, you really need to think in terms of muting, you know, trying to get the thumb in there, but don't get too pedantic with it. You know, obviously, as you heard there, you know, there's a little bit of noise going on. When you get really quick with it, you know, it's going to be hard to keep everything quiet, you know, and you know, with drums and things like that, you're not going to hear some of the little scuffs in there. So don't worry about it too much, but, you know, start out slowly and just build up gradually. And like I said, you will start to feel it rolling off the fingers a little bit more as you build up speed, because it's kind of intended to be played fast. You know, a lot of these little moves, it feels a little bit more natural when it's played quick. So over at Talkingbass.net, I've provided 3 different backing tracks. We've got one at 110 beats per minute, 120 beats per minute, and finally at the full speed of 130. So let's try at 110. Now let's try a little quicker, let's try 120. Finally, when you feel comfortable playing around at 120, you can go full speed 130. So that's POW! So remember to like this video if it's helped, subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell graphic to receive notifications on all the weekly lesson releases. Also follow the link in the info below to visit Talkingbass.net, where you'll find hundreds more lessons on every topic imaginable. We also have a whole bunch of premium courses over there on lots of different topics, so if you're into slap bass, remember to check out Simple Steps to Slap Bass. That's a course that takes you from the absolute basics all the way through to advanced fills and grooves and double thumbing and all that jazz. So check out Simple Steps to Slap Bass, and I'll see you next week.